This depicts a typical day in the life of thousands of persons locked up for violating the law. The script is repeated in virtually all the 96 correctional facilities, with about 45,000 men, women and children deemed to be offenders of the law. Life in prison changed drastically between 2005 and 2006, when the then Vice President and Minister for Home Affairs, Mudiawori, pushed for massive reforms in prisons.
So far as the prisons are concerned, trying to create, a human face.
And for the first time, the public could take a look inside penal institutions. Prisoners got new uniforms, access to entertainment, hygiene was improved, and had buses, not lorries, for a comfy ride to and from court, among other basic facilities. This was to go a notch higher in 2010, when the Constitution was adopted and their rights enshrined. As Kenyans hoped the document would signify socio-economic political development, those behind bars were clinging to the hope that Article 51, touching on rights of persons detained, held in custody or imprisoned, will be the game changer at correctional facilities that are, to say the least, deplorable.
We haven't built any new prisons or expanded our prisons for quite some time. When we are doing this, there is the congestion, it's the bad conditions of people.
Fast forward to 4 years after the promulgation of the Constitution.
Honorable members,
the National Assembly marshalled 250 of the 349 members of Parliament to prolong the 4-year constitutional deadline to enact several laws by 9 months, one of them touching on the rights of persons detained.
Considering that a lot of consultation is needed for some of these bills, so they found themselves out of time, or rather they presented their draft bills too late for Parliament to adequately review the draft proposal.
The bill currently introduced in Parliament seeks to end the culture of subjecting prisoners to degrading treatment and sets a penalty of up to 200,000 shillings or imprisonment for not more than 2 years or both for anyone who subjects prisoners to cruel and inhumane treatment. It also restricts unnecessary body searches and offers the leeway for an intersex person to decide the sex of the person to carry out the search. To address the challenge of prisons forced to house almost double their capacity of convicts, the bill empowers the Cabinet Secretary through a Gazette notice to determine the maximum number of prisoners to be accommodated in any facility and the minimum space for accommodation. The needs of women who give birth while in custody are also taken care of, as they are allowed to stay with their children for 4 years and forbid their birth records to indicate they were born in jail. At the same time, it specifically prescribes special nutritional attention be given to children, pregnant women, lactating mothers, and those with physical conditions that require a prescribed diet. The diet should also take into consideration religious needs. The government will also be compelled to provide adequate sanitary materials for women. Prisoners also have a right to educational opportunities and reading material beneficial to rehabilitation, as well as reasonable access to news media. As a follow-up to rehabilitation programs, the bill proposes the Cabinet Secretary legislates on vocational training of prisoners and active employment of prisoners for a normal working day. It also calls for family days to be held at least once every 3 months. It, however, remains silent on the rights of persons to enjoy conjugal rights while imprisoned. It also proposes the establishment of a 12-member consultative committee tasked with recommending matters relating to persons deprived of liberty. Prisoners also have a forum to launch complaints if their rights are violated. However, for prisoners to begin enjoying these rights, they will have to wait until March next year for the law to be passed and thereafter hope for the full implementation. Reporting for Channel 1 Bill Tracker, I'm Catherine Achienga.